Hey there, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be going over how to install and set up OBS and Handbrake for your YouTube videos. Now the reason I'm doing this video is because, during my time of starting my channel and figuring everything out, I had to go to different forum posts that each one gave me a little bit of different information, sometimes helpful, sometimes not, and the same with different videos that I found online. So I wanted to put everything together to make it easier for you guys and help you get set up. So the first piece of software that you're going to need, and by the way, the links for these are going to be available in the description. So if you click on the description, the links will be down there. So if you want to go to the first link, which is the obsproject.com/download, and then you're going to select your operating system. And I recommend going with multi-platform because this is the newer version. And the latest stable version on here is 0.657. And just click this green download OBS button. Now go ahead and install that, and then the next software that you're going to need is Handbrake, and this is a transcoder. What this is going to do, this is going to reduce the file size of the video that you capture in OBS. And the reason that I use Handbrake, for one, it's free, which is really great, and it is fast, and generally the videos that I capture, because they're such high quality, they're at full HD. By the time that I'm done recording just an hour of video, the file size is already several gigs, and you don't want to sit there and wait and upload that to YouTube and then wait for it to process. You think you got better things to do. So go ahead and download and install Handbrake, and then once you've done that, the first software that you're going to want to open up is OBS. So this is basically what OBS looks like. It's actually pretty easy to set up and get going for you. If you'll click in Settings, now the first couple of tabs for my needs, because I record everything locally, I don't do a lot of streaming. So the first General tab I just leave alone, and the second tab is if you want to set up different streaming services. And the third tab is one of the important ones. If you'll go into Recording, and you basically want to mirror what I have here. The output mode needs to be advanced, the type needs to be standard, and then you're going to just choose your recording path by clicking Browse. The recording format needs to be MP4, and then it doesn't necessarily have to be this way, but I have all four audio tracks selected here in case I need to do something with those audio tracks later on. If I use it in like Adobe Premiere or something like that, you might not need that, so don't worry about it. Now the encoder is very important because I have an NVIDIA card. You might have an ATI card or some other card, and for the NVIDIA card, it has an NVENC transcoder that it uses, and it runs it totally on the video card. Now there's another one. The name of it was. Now there's another encoder called H.264 that is going to be used mostly the CPU, but if you have an NVIDIA card, I recommend that you go with a NVENC encoder. Okay, so the next piece of information is going to be the rescale. I recommend that you do not rescale, especially if you're already recording in HD. You really don't need this. Now down here at the bottom section, the profile that I recommend is going to be main, and the key interval is 2. The rate control is going to be constant. Again, this is really important if you're also going to be editing this video later, like in Premiere or some other video editing software. Now, my bit rate is 50,000, and it's going to be really high. It's one of the main reasons why my file size is so large, but at this bit rate, it's going to be exactly like how I see it on my screen. And that's important because you don't want grainy video when you upload it to YouTube. People aren't going to like your videos. So that's important. And the next one is that you want to use a custom buffer size. and set that buffer size to 0. Now next you're going to click on the advanced button here and click low latency. Now this is important because it'll help reduce a lot of the stuttering and that you might get in your video. And the rest of these 3 fields down here are not important, so you can just leave those alone. Now if we go to the audio tab, now your setup is going to be a little different than mine. I have a special USB microphone that I'm using. You might have a separate microphone, or you might be using the microphone on your webcam, or whatever your setup is. That's where you want to select that here, as I've got my microphone selected. Now I like the sample rate of 48 kilohertz, and you might like 4.41. It really doesn't matter. I'll just go with the best. And the rest of the stuff is really up to you. It's not mandatory that any of this stuff is set up. So if we head over to the video tab. And me personally, I like to leave this at Direct3D 11, and you want to leave the base resolution. For me, because I like to record everything at 1080p, that's what I'm going to set it at. But I don't want to change that into anything less, because it'll mess with the frame rate, and the quality of your video is not going to be all that great. You could set up different hotkeys. I have hotkeys set up here for streaming and recording. You can do whatever you want here. And under the advanced tab, I just kind of leave this alone for whatever the defaults are. So this really isn't all that important. So that's really it for OBS. It's really not that difficult to set up. Now, whenever you set up a scene, and you click here to set up a new scene, and you can name it whatever you want. And then once you have your scene selected, that's when you go in here and set up all your different sources. Like I have one for audio input, which is my microphone, audio output, which is my default speakers for my computer, and the image is the overlay that you see here. And then the video capture, which is not shown right now, but it'll be my webcam. And display capture is what I'm using to capture this display. I actually have 3 different monitors, and it's capturing my main one. So there's little settings for these, and those are pretty easy to figure out, so I'm not going to go over that stuff. So once you're done recording, of course you'll click start record, and then once you're done, you'll hit stop recording, and it'll produce a file similar to this one right here. And like I mentioned, because of the high bit rate, it's going to produce a file that's quite large. And then after you've got like an hour video, that it could be several, maybe 4 or 5 gigs of file size. So in order to reduce that file size, that's where I'm going to minimize this and then go into Handbrake. So what you want to do is open up Handbrake and then click Source and then File. And then let's see, find that really big one. Okay. So it's 259 megs, almost 260 megs. Let's open that. Now it's going to scan it, and then when that's done, here are the tabs that you want to set up. First of all, now the title and chapters and whatnot, if you're just uploading to YouTube, none of that stuff is important. Now the container needs to be MP4 because that's what YouTube likes. You can leave web optimized and iPod 5G support unchecked. And on the picture tab, I like to do custom so it does not do any cropping. And then for the anamorphic, which is like the scaling, you want to choose none. So you just get the full resolution of whatever you recorded this at. And again, mine's going to be at 1080p. Modulus is not important. So see under filters, there's going to be nothing there that you need to change. And the video codec needs to stay at H.264. Now this is really up to you. You can play with these settings, but as it mentions here, the suggested values are 18 to 20 for standard, then 20 to 23 for high definition. Now I like to bump this up to 23. You can play with that and see how it turns out for you. Frame rate, I'm going to leave same as source, and then I'm not going to choose average bit rate. Now, under the preset for X264, I like to leave this just as very fast. Now the tune, you can just leave it at none. Fast decode is unchecked. The profile is main, and the level you can leave it 4. Then audio, you don't really need to mess with that at all. No subtitles, no chapter, nothing in there. So just really just these 2 tabs here is the main one. And then once you're setting all that up, you just click start. First I need to choose where this is going to go. Save it and hit start. And then that's going to go through. It's going to re-encode it. And what you're going to find is that more than likely the file size on the new one, which is going to be here, is going to be a quarter of what it started out at. It might even be less. But once that's done, then you're going to just normally go into your YouTube channel and just upload the video. And then it'll save quite a bit of time as far as upload and also processing time. Okay, so one quick thing that I wanted to show you here was the file size difference between what I started with was almost 260 megs versus what I winded up with after it went through Handbrake. So it went down, it's just shy of 21 megs. So that's actually quite a bit of difference. It's about, was that 10% roughly? So Handbrake, you know, it being free, I mean, you can't not use this because, like I said, it'll save you time uploading the file, and then the processing time will be far less. So I just wanted to show you that. So guys, that's really it. There's really not much to it. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please like it. If you have any questions or anything, leave a comment, and I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe. Anyway, have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.